Hello, everyone. Welcome to our show, Ask Kaveti. I'm your host, Manal, and today we have the topic of shoplifting. Now, we will get more into that topic, but first, I would like to introduce Mr. Srinivas Rao Kaveti with us. Hi, sir. How are you?
Good, thanks, Meenal.
How are you doing? How is the
Very good,
weather?
thank you. Excellent, excellent.
Yeah. Okay, so I wanted to talk to you about shoplifting today. Now there are some new things happening in California, and I would like you to tell us more about what's going on in regards to shoplifting in California.
Okay. You picked up a very good topic, Meenal. First of all, I want your viewers to understand what is actually first shoplifting.
Yes.
Shoplifting is basically going and stealing from a store, basically. That's shoplifting. It's actually stealing,
Mhm.
theft. In a simple language, it's called theft.
Yes.
Going to a store, you don't own that, you're supposed to pay, but you're not paying. You're using force to take the goods, chattel without the consent of the owner.
Yeah.
That's called shoplifting. So you're not paying for it. So
Yeah.
that means you're depriving the owner of the store by not paying the sale consideration. That's a legal language which is used. There are different types in America. One must understand theft means, they have classified it into a petty larceny, grand larceny, misdemeanors, and felonies. What
Mhm.
is meaning of a petty larceny?
I
A
am
petty
not sure.
larceny,
I would like you to elaborate because I'm not sure either.
right? A petty larceny means somebody goes and steals, whether it can be, any goods which are less than $500 actually. But now what is happening, anything which is more than $500, if somebody goes and steals them from anywhere, from a private house or from a person walking, if somebody is stealing your wallet or your phone, anything which is more than $500 is called grand larceny.
Hmm.
So the law said, the federal penal law, the interesting part in America is the 50 states have 50 penal laws, and every state punishes people a different way.
Hmm.
In terms of California, they've just changed the law. It's a very sad thing that anybody who steals less than $900, it used to be 450 in the past. That
Mhm.
means, as I said to you, below $500 is a petty larceny. Now they have redefined petty larceny, that anybody steals close to $900 also is petty larceny. That means a petty larceny is misdemeanor. What is a
Yes.
misdemeanor? This is a classification of offenses. There are three types of offenses defined. One is called violation. Let's say you're speeding a car in a highway. That is called violation. It's not an offense when you're speeding something,
A lot of people do that
right? And
normally.
if you're drink and driving, that's an offense. You could be
Yes.
arrested for that. If you're taking drugs and driving, that you could be arrested for that. That's a serious offense.
Hmm.
But it's just let's say a violation is you shouting on a public street.
Right.
That's a violation. A disorderly conduct. It's a violation. It's not any crime. It's not going to be on your criminal record.
Record, yes.
Um, yeah, and the misdemeanors can be on the criminal record. Misdemeanors means if you're punished after your trial, if the prosecution proves beyond reasonable doubt, if you're punished below 1 year. That's called misdemeanor. And again, every state has classified misdemeanors, class one, class two. Every state is different. Let's not go into that detail.
Yeah.
Then felony means anybody, if you're convicted more than 1 year, that amounts to felony. That means you could end up in jail for more than 1 year.
Hmm.
Felonies are serious offenses, I would say. They're minor
Yeah.
offenses, serious offenses. So what has happened in California? I mean, one must understand, we all look upon California and New York State. Most of the times, all states, they see California and New York State as a model state. What does
Yes.
it mean? All the states, 50 states, they look upon these two states because California being a Hollywood base, and if you see the lifestyle, and almost all the IT companies are in California, and it's a Silicon Valley. I mean, the technology starts from California,
Yeah.
and music and dance and movies and everything. So it's a very it's a business center of America. If you see New York as well, it's the same thing because most of the corporation, their headquarters are in New York. And if you see
Yes.
why New York has that prominence, because the Wall Street is in New York. After the
Yes.
stocks are traded in New York, International Monetary Fund is in New York, United Nations is in New York. Almost all politicians of the world, presidents and senators and ambassadors, they come and sit in New York
Yeah.
because the international law, the Security Council is in New York, United Nations is in New York.
In New York.
America funds for it. So
Yes.
politically, New York is very powerful too
Yeah.
after Washington, D.C. And in terms of business, California is powerful because it's the music industry and movie industry
Yeah.
and IT industry. Those are
Like,
the nerve centers. They control the world.
yeah, sorry to interject, but like when you talk about West Coast, the first thing you think of is California. And
Right.
when you talk about East Coast, you think of New York. So
Correct.
it's like they are dominating,
Correct.
in every way.
Correct. So in terms of law, New York is called a model penal state. When a law is passed in New York, the whole world looks upon it. They basically copy the same law. If you see
Right.
the law, penal law, company law, corporate law, any laws, even procedural laws, when a New York law is passed, there's a history. Other states, they just follow the same law. They think that because New York is the capital of the business, and the corporate America runs from New York because Wall Street and stocks, International Monetary Fund is in New York, and World Bank headquarters and all the corporate headquarters are in New York, Manhattan, because the business decisions are made in New York. So they see that laws, which are catching up with technology and everything, even the Constitution of New York and the laws of New York, they're considered to be superior.
Right.
And so is California.
Mm.
And what happens is when these two states make something, the whole world follows. It's
Mhm.
like this: America sneezes, the world catches the cold, something like that. So when New York legislators and California legislators, when they make a law, the other states they follow. So
Yeah.
it's a very sad thing in California now. A few months ago, they changed the law. They said that stealing from a store, from any retail store or anywhere, below $900, that means they've increased the cap from 450 to $900. So what is happening now? People are going ransacking, they're stealing from stores, and many Walgreens stores have been closed in California, many
Oh no.
counties in SFO, because these are pharmacy stores. And what is
Yeah.
happening is the police are not able to do anything. They're saying it's a petty larceny, and the police commissioners are not able to do. And the privilege of store owners, that you cannot detain them now because it's just a misdemeanor, it's just a petty larceny. And these people, if you see, there are a lot of Fox News and other mainstream American media is covered, and you can see it in YouTube. They're all there. That people are coming and ransacking. They're just stealing, and the
No.
owners of the stores, they're not able to do anything. Even if you call the
Oh
cops, they're
wow.
coming in front of the cops. They're coming and stealing. And once they're stealing, what's happening? They're selling these goods in flea markets. So your $900 of material chattel your store is stealing, you're taking them to flea markets on a weekend and you're selling those goods. There is a law saying that you cannot sell the stolen goods.
Huh.
And when you have a knowledge that it's a stolen goods when you're buying, it's a crime. But because of this law, that below $900, the police is not able to do anything. The security guys are not able to do anything. And the real estate owners, the retail owners are not able to do anything. And as it is after the pandemic, many stores have closed and they're trying to open it now. When they open it, people are coming and stealing.
Oh, wow.
So, and there's an endangerment of life because these thugs, those who are coming, they're using criminal force. They're coming with weapons and other things. And the sales girls or sales boys, they're not able to use any force because
Yeah.
now you don't have a privilege of holding them back and detaining you. What's happening is the police is not doing anything, so it's lawlessness in California now.
And also, like the people at the counter, they can't really protect themselves against people who are coming in with weapons, I'm guessing, and
Correct,
using force. So that's
correct,
dangerous for them as well. They can't just fight
absolutely.
for themselves. Like
And
if
when you
I think of it, like if I were in that situation where I'm at working at a store and someone comes in and is shoplifting right in front of me, I am not going to, stand up to them and fight them because I will be endangering my life.
correct,
So I
correct,
feel like that just adds on to the craziness. You can't do anything. The police is not doing anything. So you're just going to watch people just steal. That's
correct.
crazy to me.
Right. The causation for this is the reason, as it is, if you see, past 2 3 years, people have lost jobs because of this pandemic, and two, many states are legalizing cannabis now, and the
Mm,
kids are getting used to this buying 20 $30 $40, and there's if you see California, there's more breaking ins, and they're smashing the cars windows, and
yeah.
whatever they're seeing in the cars, they're stealing it. And if you see in California, most of the car owners, they're complaining that their windows are smashed, and whatever the little things are in the cars, they're stealing those things. And I've experienced myself in New York. My wife's cars, the tires have been stolen, and they're stealing the
Um,
tires, and
so
it's only cost 30
I
forty
have,
dollars.
yeah, I
And why?
have this
Because these young
question.
students.
I
Sorry,
just
ma'am.
wanted to ask that, okay, I get that people are shoplifting. Those are not their private shops. But breaking into a person's car, that's personal. Like, that's allowed as well? That's
No, no, that's not
shouldn't
allowed.
be
But
considered shoplifting.
right, because that's when you're using a force and breaking in into a car. Because unfortunately, the burglary doesn't come there because the burglary definition is you have to live in the house, and if you're coming in using a force to steal something by using a force and breaking in something, that amounts to burglary. Burglary definition is you have to live in that apartment or a house or a car or a caravan. But now these
Yeah.
cars are on the street, and they're able to see, a lot of cameras are there, they're seeing. And the other problem now is because of the COVID, everybody's wearing a mask,
Yeah.
and they're putting hoods. And in cameras, they can't see, they can't identify, because as it is, now they're taking an advantage of hoods and mosques. We're
Yeah.
supposed to use
Yeah.
a mask, and with that, it's getting worse now. So they're stealing. The kids, young kids, and people are stealing and going. And in the cameras, they can't identify. So now what's happening? More shoplifting happening. Two, the cars are getting mugged, and they're breaking in. They're breaking the cars' windows and
Yeah.
things like that. And three, the owners are not able to run the businesses. Companies like Walgreens are closing. Big corporations are closing. They're not showing any interest in opening the businesses because they're losing money. And
Yeah.
sales people, those who want to work in the stores, they're getting scared to work because it is endangerment of their life now. There's no security, there's no
Mhm.
safety. So it's affecting employment, it's affecting the security. It is also affecting the community because there are certain areas in SFO, they don't have pharmacy stores. So what they're
Oh
supposed to do? They
no.
got to go to another neighborhood to buy some your medication. So if you need any emergency medication, you don't have a store close to it. And it's not like in New York that you take a subway or a bus and go to another neighborhood. And cities
Yeah,
like California, you need to have a car.
you need to have more.
So, I mean, transportation is another issue. So if you don't
Yeah.
have money, what are you going to, well, how are you going to go? If many immigrants don't even know how to drive a car,
Yeah.
and many unlawful aliens, they can't even have a car. So what's going to happen? It's going to affect the unlawful aliens. It's going to happen old people. It's going to affect it's going to affect a lot in the community.
I feel like the minorities will be affected the most.
Absolutely, yes.
So,
And they're not doing anything. And even the police officers and the commissioners are saying we can't do anything. The only thing they can do is lawmakers have to change the law. And
yeah.
if they don't change the worst thing, what would happen if other states follow that same law, because we are used to copy the law of California and New York, what's going to happen? The whole of American states would follow such law. It's going to be a chaos. It's going
Yeah.
to be lawlessness in America. And the whole world is going to copy. Unfortunate thing is, whatever America does, the whole world copies it. So if they follow the same thing all over the world, what will be the future of the next generation? It's not going to be a beautiful place to live anymore, because we all immigrants came to this country, as we discussed, that immigrants are coming and students are getting bullied and they're committing suicide, gun laws. People are walking with guns. They're not changing any gun laws. People are
Yeah.
killing in the schools, and the kids are taking cannabis. They're legalizing all this marijuana and other things, and they need money. Employment is not there. Economy is not picking up. It's going to be worse. I'm telling you. So
Yeah.
this is
And
very scary in America.
yeah, I feel like the gun laws make putting them into this mix of shoplifting, it's just worse
It's going to be
because
worse. Yes. Yes,
yeah,
Nina.
people are getting
And
guns without
yes,
like it's nothing.
yes,
So my thing is that why can't these stores like Walgreens, right? You said they're closing down. Why can't these stores ramp up their security? They can't hire more security personnel to help out?
yes. That's a good question, because what they've done, they're having security now. See, what's going to happen if for each store, if you want to hire a security, it costs you $70,000 to $100,000 to have a security guy full time.
Mm,
And is it feasible? I don't know. Number one. Number two, these security guys, they've interviewed the security guys as well. The law says you can only use reasonable force. You cannot use guns or unreasonable force to detain somebody when you're stealing something.
oh,
So what's going to happen? You don't have a privilege of detaining them, because the police is not going to arrest them.
no.
There's no retributive effect that if you steal, you go to jail. You're not going to jail. So they're just pushing the security guys. They're pushing the policemen. They're pushing and using force on the owners of the stores, and they're going away. So, I mean, even if they have, is it going to solve the problem? I don't think so.
Yeah. Because there's only so much, I guess, the security personnel can do.
They cannot use unreasonable force. That's a law in this country. They can only stop somebody, detain somebody for a little while. But the police is not taking any cognizance. Even if you're stopped, what's going to happen? The police is not going to punish you. You're not going to get arrested. So what's going to happen? It's a waste of time, a
Yeah.
waste of your money. Hiring a security guy pays $70,000 to $100,000.
And especially if the small pharmacies that are already not making that much, they can't
Right.
hire
Well,
just
pharmacies
any
do make
security
money, I
guard.
mean, in this country, but
Yeah.
looking at security, endangerment of life, people couldn't come and do steal things, and they can do anything to you.
Yeah. That's not a good incentive. Like
No,
people will not be up for that job.
it's lawlessness. Yeah. So
Wow.
I'm sure, Mana TV international viewers would, this would be an interesting thing for the Mana TV as well, and to the viewers. And there's so many YouTube clippings are there,
Yeah.
and you can, your viewers can see that. And one has to be careful. I guess people will move out of California. That's going to happen in the future.
I'm just hoping that they do change the laws before it spreads. If other states
Right.
start following this law, then it'll just add on to the chaos.
Yes, yes, yes. So, that's an opinion. That's we're only just doing a legal analysis. We're not targeting any state. With my knowledge of law, I went to school here in London and Australia and India, just analyzing the facts. It's not a legal advice or anything, but it's not a good connotation. It's not a good signal for the whole world.
Yeah.
When the whole world looks at it, what they're going to say? They're going to make fun of California.
Shoplifting has been so advertised in movies and TV shows that it's a game for students or for young kids to just shoplift just because it's fun, just because it's a game or a challenge. So, but now this law that you can shoplift anything up to $900, this just doesn't make sense to me. I'm trying to understand it, but 900 is a lot of money.
Yes, you're right. It's a lot of money, and you could do continuously. Go to other store and shoplift $900.
Yeah.
Ransacking. That's what's happening in California now.
Oh my God.
So it's not a good thing. And what will happen if the whole world looks at it and other states they follow the same thing? It's going to be a chaos in the country. It's
Yeah.
not a good. It's not a good signal for the whole world.
Yeah.
Lawmakers have to change it. They if they don't do it now, it's going to go out of their control.
Mm. I mean, there are already so many laws that need to be changed. So the list just keeps on growing.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, because when the society as it changes in the world, Meenal, if you
Mm.
see from hundreds of years, a lot of laws have changed because laws are made by human beings and they're made for human beings. The way the society changes, the laws get changed.
Mm.
Law is dynamic. It has to change. The
They
way
need
the
to be
technology,
updated.
it has to be updated. As you see, we have never seen any surrogacy. It's a new area of law.
Mm.
Adoption. If you see, change in gun laws. There's so many areas. If you see, now the electric energy laws have changed now because of solar electrical panels coming, and we are producing electricity on our house. So, like that, there are so many laws are changing every day. And if you see, the same-sex marriages, it's changed in the
Yeah.
world. And now they're changed. A lot of states are following, changing the laws of legalizing cannabis and other, drugs and marijuana. The world is
Yeah.
changing. So the
Yeah.
way the world is changing, the laws have to change. They have to catch up. If they don't catch up, if they become obsolete, it's not going to function. The society is not going
No,
to function. I guess the legislators have to think they have to change with the society. It will change. It has to change.
it has to change. You're
It
right.
has to change. Yeah.
So, anyways, Mr. Kaveti, this was a very interesting topic, I would say. I am glad that we talked about shoplifting laws, and I hope they do change because this is going to add on to the madness. So, anyways, viewers, I hope you guys enjoyed our episode today with Mr. Kaveti. We are always trying we are always trying to bring you new topics to discuss and talk about and be aware of the things going around us all the time. Especially if you're living in the US, there's always something going on. And we are going to continue to talk about these different topics. So we are updated and you guys are updated. So we are here every Friday. You can watch our episodes on Mana TV International's YouTube channel. And I'm your host, Manal, and I was joined by Mr. Kaveti. Any closing remarks, sir?
This is, next week we'll come up with surrogate laws, which is an interesting area too. And I would like to come up with new areas so that it helps your viewers. And the other thing is, this is not a legal advice, just a legal analysis. It is only for information purposes. If any of your viewers have any specific questions, let them contact the local lawyers who are specialized in those areas. And we can also continue this if shoplifting is done in other states, what will happen in terms of immigration law, because we have some clients who've
Yeah.
been arrested in the past, and how it has affected their immigration status and how it has affected their employment status and other things. We can take up that in another episode. But thanks very much for Mana TV. And thank you very much, Meenal, for your time.
Of
And
course.
thank you very much. And we will come up with more episodes like this. And this is just only for information and education purposes. Don't take this as an attorney-client relationships. And just to educate the viewers, we'll come up with more laws. Thank you very much.
Thank you, viewers, for watching us today. As Mr. Kaveti said, we will see you next week with our topic on surrogacy. I hope you will join us again and continue to watch our episodes on YUPP TV Live and subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us, follow us, and share us on our Facebook channel. See you next week. Have a nice day.